All right, friends, I want to say that this is a beautiful honor for me to be surrounded by these gorgeous ladies for one thing. Wow! Only one of them is my wife. That would be an honor. And Om Shah is going to bless us with an overture, an introduction to introduce this. Then I'm going to take us on a very brief little resonance enhancing meditation. And then Maureen Edwardson, who has come down from Canada, from British Columbia, to share her extraordinary information that she's been developing for the last 30 years. I imagine you'll tell us what that is.
Maybe.
With a little bit of luck, she'll drop it into it. Our beloved Wowza, founder of the Church of Wow, where we all look into each other's eyes and say, wow. And in various languages, that's wow in Venice, I think. So, we incorporate a little bit of humor and fun. I think you're hearing me all right, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Still project.
Okay.
Still project to the background.
Okay, good.
And use the mic while you're projecting.
So this is a tricky room, so we're just learning. So good. Okay. After Maureen, Connie and I will give you the essence of what we call the trust frequency. And many of you know our book, The Trust Frequency, 10 Assumptions for a New Paradigm. So we'll give a little bit of an overview of that. So this is sort of the left brain section. So we're going to go left brain, right brain, and full body wowsing. And to see who we are when we emerge in an hour or hour and a half or however long it turns out to be. And then in closing, Omashar will get us a think.
We'll see how it
We
feels.
don't yet know that it might actually be the wild dance party element of this presentation, because let Spirit take us there.
Squeeze!
All right?
Yes. So I think,
Yes,
we
that's fine, yes, you but get really grown if you can.
so going to be
You're
doing
in she's over like Tom Boers.
Oh,
You know, when you
yeah, all the dream, but
yeah, just wait that. Yeah. We'll find balance. It's like our first time doing something together like this. Thank you so much. Connie will now say a little bit more about Maureen's work, which on the spot.
Well, Maureen will do her inner resonance technologies, which will open us to the quantum reality so that we can take in the trust frequency construct on the nature of the universe a little easier into our being. And then Wowza will take us through an embodiment. So that's the process we'll be going through today.
I know we're ready to launch this thing.
Yeah!
Oh, Michelle, we are ready. Imagine. Just imagine. Imagine that this group of apparently separate entities in these apparently separate bodies, approximately a dozen of us, half of those of the feminine persuasion, half of us are the masculine persuasion, united in a single resonant field. Imagine that we are not human beings, that we are actually components of a glorious being that sometimes when you look at it, it looks for all the world like what do they call them, unidentified flying object or a UFO, or I sometimes see us as a jellyfish, a gloriously colored pulsating jellyfish floating in a warm, crystal clear tropical ocean, just being, pulsating gently, communicating with our various, I hesitate to say parts because parts imply separation, and we are in fact one. So whenever you have a dozen gathered together, it's actually the 13th who is truly present, who is the one composed of the 12. It is just a truly beautiful place to be. And it reminds us of something. Each and every one of us, each and every human being, and in fact every mammal on planet Earth, had an experience, the very first experience we had, and it was being in the warm tropical ocean of our mother's womb, where we were provided for, where we were safe, where we were comfortable, and where we heard sounds coming from somewhere. We didn't know where, but we heard them. Sometimes they were the sounds of African drums. Sometimes they were the sounds of song and singing and chanting and all sorts of other mysterious sounds that as these tiny fetal beings we experience profoundly in the depths of our souls before we took the plunge and bravely, almost, wow, did that take courage to say, okay, Mom, I'm ready. And we emerged into this reality. Here we are. Wow. And one of these beings in this circle goes by the name of Maureen. And Maureen works with quantum's, the most profoundly deep level of quantum science, all the way down to the Planckian and even the sub-Planckian level, which means the tiniest scale that we are currently scientifically aware of. And at that level, there are these pixels, because the universe is pixelated. And each and every one of those pixels turns out to be a black hole. And each one of those black holes turns out to be connected to every other pixel and every other black hole through something that we call a wormhole. And what we're experiencing today in Los Angeles and in these separate bodies are the result of some agreements made at the quantum level, you might say a long time ago, and they've become very habitual to us. We think of them as reality. And they may be reality, but there are many other realities. So I'm going to hand this over to Maureen, and she will show us how to slip and slide through these wormholes and go into alternative universes, of which there are an estimated 1 trillion from each of us, which is utterly insane. It's completely incomprehensible, and it's absolutely beautiful, and it's completely true, and it is how healing happens. Maureen?
And so we breathe in the infinite universe that we are part of and one with in that grand scale, into the miracle of our body. And as Andrew is saying, our body, or our beingness, is now being breathed into this body, which is also an incredible quantum computing miracle machine that is instantly responding to infinite consciousness. And when we think about the 100 trillion cells that Dr. William Brown speaks of in the Resonant Science Foundation, each neuron in that 100 trillion cellular system, each neuron has 100,000 potential connections. Each one of those 100,000 potential connections has 85 billion wormholes into other dimensional realities. So we are rocking. We are incredible. And so we're breathing in to this, we're breathing infinity into this instant responder to infinite consciousness. And so here we are, breathing in our portion of the infinite. And just being present with our breath is enough. And so being present with our breath, we become aware of the greater truth of who we really are as infinite beings. Part of and one with the all of everything that is. And so as we become aware of this and remember the truth of us as spiritual beings, having a physical experience on a whole new level of understanding and acceptance. And it's an opportunity, not a necessity, an opportunity to invite whatever spiritual team that you know of and love and that is supportive of your journey. And there are occasionally atheists or agnostics. And it doesn't matter because it's true science, the spiritual aspect of who we truly, truly are, infinite in nature. And so just keeping it simple and just saying yes and thank you to your greater self, because we're part of and one with all of everything that is. There is no separation. And just allowing as you breathe in and out of your heart center, just being present with your heart, being present with your breath, breathing in and out, 360. I like to think of that as our nodal address in the multiverse. Breathing in and out with love, with light, with the greater truth of our infinite selves. And so the body is always switched on. The body is always fully receptive. And so what happens, I have a great announcement to make. I hope you're ready for it. We're all out of our minds. We're all out of our minds because our mind is in a field all around us. And guess what's giving us that tummy ache? Guess what's giving us that headache? Guess what's giving us an altered experience that may be undesirable? It's all that information in the field because the body is a 100% responder. So what we're doing today is allowing that superconscious part of us to, at the field level, neutralize and harmonize any old unresolved energies from all times and places, and we'll go through that, what I call protocol, in just a moment. We're in the middle of doing it right now, actually. We're all here now. And so now, allowing the body to just take a rest, because the body's job has been to act out everything to give us a heads up of what needs to be paid attention to. The body's had a really big job, and bigger than what it was intended for. It was never intended for the overwhelm. and the build-up, and the build-up, and the build-up. It was intended to be in the moment, to give us a beautiful experience of this paradise on earth. So who's up for returning to the paradise?
Yes.
Yeah. And who's up for clearing all of anything that's no longer necessary or relevant?
Yes.
Yeah. Because to get to the juice, to get to the core of what we're here to address, whether it's relationships with all of ourselves, whether it's, dealing with creating whatever we're choosing to create, there's been a lot of interference patterns and static around that. And I believe that is one of the reasons for aging, because it's all the static and unresolved issues that don't allow the regenerative life force energy to reach us and automatically regenerate. Because we're regenerating 300 million cells a day. Oh, I got that right. I'm not good with numbers. But that's a big lot. A lot of cells are getting regenerated every day. So why do we have those 20 years of back problems from an injury that is no longer relevant to this time and space? Because the body makes a whole new body every year. We get a whole new liver every 6 weeks. We get a whole new stomach lining every 3 days. We are really incredible. And guess what? Consciousness runs the body. Remember that guy called Einstein, the guy with the hair? Yeah, well, he told us that the sole governing agency of the particle is the field. Very good. Very good, young lady. So it's the field. And so when we neutralize the field, anything that's no longer necessary, guess what? We just get to be happy for no reason. Who's up for that?
Yeah.
And then you come from your authentic self with limited programs, programs that aren't necessarily here to teach you anything, because the ones that are left over are here to teach you. But to get to those core pieces, we get the added adventure. Oh, that was interesting. And the added adventure and opportunity and advantage was the word of giving ourselves an easier path than an easier path. So IRT represents a quickening. It represents inner resonance technologies, IRT. It's not a bypass, it's a shortcut. And we're in the times of the edge of potential annihilation. So we got to speed things up around here. And as the good Jesus said, we would do all that he did and more and greater. And these are those times. And so IRT allows us to wake up to the part of us that knows how to clear and to be together with our hearts in a clear space, connected on a whole new level of understanding that we are one. So here we are. We're breathing together. We're recognizing the body as a miracle machine. So who's up for being at the command center? Woohoo, here we are. Absolutely. And we are commanders of our personal universe. Unified field physics tells us this. The biology of Bruce Lipton tells us this. And so consciousness runs the show. So let's just allow ourselves now to just take some more deeper breaths in and out of our heart center. And so we're going to keep it simple. This work is very, very simple. And yet it's very profound because it includes all aspects of who you are on all levels of reality, all times, all places, of everything that is being dragged forward unnecessarily, no longer relevant to this moment, so that we get to then really show up for the real work and for the real gifts to share with others in a much more harmonic way. And so would it be all right to allow any and all unresolved issues, known and unknown, to be addressed and dissolved or shifted in some way here today for you?
Yes.
With you, as you?
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so now, guess what? You know, we are sitting in this supercomputer, and so the conscious mind is that person at the commands keyboard, putting in let's clear and delete all programs with the word pain, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, financial, relationships, anything you want to put in there. And then we press the enter button and let the part of us that's already programmed to do that. Because you know, in computer technology or any systems, the level of complexity that's already built into a system affords a corresponding simplicity of access. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And so now, that's what we're doing. Who knew? So here we go. So now allowing all levels, so I'm going to take you through a series of questions. There's nothing I'm doing to you or for you, but you're activating the part of you that already knows everything, knows the truth of who you are, and knows how to dissolve that information in your field that's no longer necessary to come through your conscious mind to try to figure out or, you know, come up against or, you know, go around about or figure it out, and or the body does not need to act all this out. So isn't that amazing? What an amazing gift that we contain within we never knew about. So we're going to be dissolving everything in the field that's no longer relevant, no longer necessary. And so all the ways any unresolved issues are interfering with us unnecessarily have been up until this moment. And people have healed broken bones in 10 minutes doing this work. The body is a miracle alchemical machine, I kid you not. Stories upon stories upon stories. Lots of different techniques. And it's true with IRT. And so now, allowing all the ways any information in your field has been poking at your body, or your mind, or your emotions, or your spiritual ability to feel that expansiveness of oneness. Finances, sometimes, always, relationships. Especially that one with your greater self and all that is. And so now we're also addressing all the levels of memory. Your whole life, every microsecond is recorded. All the way back to when you popped into the world. All the time you swam around inside drinking up your mama's soup, right to the moment you were conceived. And beyond that, how many times do we spend years and days in ancestral clearing? All that information is available right here, right now. So we're allowing all of whatever that information that we've inherited that's no longer relevant to us or necessary to drag forward, the freedom, the opportunity to shift. And then we go into soul memory, past, present, concurrent, parallel realities, future, where we collapse everything into this precious moment of now, which is all the spiritual teachers tell us that we ever have. So now we're choosing freedom and clarity and connection and inspiration to choose again. Every second we get to choose again. And so also, guess what? We're breathing. We're all part of each other just by breathing. Do you know why? Because the atmosphere is recycled. We've got the same atmosphere since the beginning of the planet. So we're breathing molecules of memory of Hitler, of Buddha, of all the greats, all the not so greats, of each other. Once we're in a room for 5 minutes together, whether it's this size or a stadium, we are breathing each other physically, molecules that we're sloughing off that we no longer need, and using all those as building blocks for our own bodies and our own ways of being. Some people go, oh, but it's the truth. We are one by breathing. And so now, allowing the galactic memory to be included, whatever that means for you, and widening it to the cosmic field of the greatest consciousness of love. And so now we're allowing all of our multidimensional selves to be coherently realigned around this next level of expression of our greatest self, ready to be revealed and enjoyed and shared. And so as you imagine, as you feel into your greatest self and your greater life, strong, happy for no reason, healthy, really passionately on service in whatever ways that bring joy to your heart and to others, abundantly so. And so here are the questions now that you're making agreements with your higher self, and the only answer is yes, just to give you a hint. So are you choosing to allow all this to unfold in the safest and most appropriate way for you and all concerned at all times?
Yes.
Right on. And are you choosing to allow greater ease and gentleness than what perhaps we ever thought possible?
Yes.
Anybody up for greater ease and gentle in this up until this moment struggle zone? Aha. Yeah, thank you. And are you allowing effortless grace to guide the way to instant and permanent shift for what's no longer relevant or necessary?
Yes.
Excellent. And so are you choosing to allow whatever isn't quite ready, to trust it still has meaning and purpose and opportunity for you, and to trust at a deeper level that all is well? Would that be okay to allow everything to be in divine right order, happening in its own time, in its own way?
Yes.
Thank you. And so now, are you allowing the part of you that's open to something different being possible in a different way to also be in charge?
Yes.
Excellent. And are you allowing the part of you that's really ready to go to the next level of resonance and activation of your greater selves here on purpose with your passionate service in the world to also step up and allow that to graciously emerge?
Yes.
Oh.
Wow. Just take a couple of deeper breaths on that one. And so there's nothing to do at this point. It's a very feminine protocol where we allow, we set the choices and action. And now there's nothing to do. This is, we're going beyond awareness. What a concept. Awareness of the mind, ability of the mind to track in that quantum, superconscious part of our own selves. Beyond the body's need to act anything out, because everything is getting dissolved and resolved and harmonized in the field. So now as you just allow yourself to focus on your beautiful hearts with all of your love and your joy and the things that you really appreciate, everything is automatically in the background, like any super duper defrag antiviral program of any computer of any size knows how to do. Everything's getting taken care of. And your superconscious spiritual self with all of your spiritual team are shifting, are dissolving, resolving, neutralizing any old charged up material that's left over. It has no purpose, no relevance at all, to allow you the freedom to do the real work that you're here for, the real presence, to be accountable, to have that ability to respond to life in all the best ways that move us all forward. And so as all that's happening, it's happening in the background, there's nothing to do and everything to allow. And so I pass to Connie and Andrew with their trust frequency. and they will talk about how you're now fully receptive in a clear space, connected to your greater good and the greater good of all, for really, really drinking in these new agreements, these agreements of the conscious loving universe and the trust frequency, a whole new set of assumptions that can now be the substructure on which we meet and live and breathe and love and have our being.
I just wanted to like to make one quick comment here, or first a question. Did anybody walk into this building today with a problem or a challenge, such as health, such as finances, such as relationships? Yes? Yes? Guess what? Don't be surprised if they have disappeared completely, because that's the way this works. It's instantaneous. It happens at the deepest quantum level, down there where those original agreements were made that put the universe or the universes in place as they are. Quick story from me. Oh, how many were here? How many here were in Sedona back in October? Quite a few. So if you heard the talks we gave and the talk that I gave, I spoke about this. Maureen is the source of what I was speaking about. And a physicist named William Brown, you might want to learn something about. It's phenomenal. And finally, I want to say this. Last year, I was diagnosed in the Western medical sense with an incurable disease called emphysema. I'm a lifelong non-smoker, so it was kind of like a death sentence, like I was slow drowning over a long period of time. Not nice. Okay, I'll get a little closer. So I was diagnosed with emphysema. It's a nasty disease. It's really horrible. It's one of it's the worst of the COPD things, right? I now have, and just remember these two words, a puzzled pulmonologist.
What is the point?
Puzzled pulmonologist. Someone who thought I had something. Now that scans are, he can't find anything. They're saying, "Can you show us what you're talking about?" He's going like, then he does the hands-on thing and with the thing and he says, "Your lungs are clear." So I handed it over to the beautiful Connie Baxter, Marlow, my wife of almost 3 months now.
I would love to, in this energy, this juiciness, because we're just learning how to flow together here, add in a presence with how you're feeling right now. So what I'm just going to guide you through first before I hand you over to the lovely partner and wife of the amazing Andrew, is just to be present with how you're feeling right now. Because we're going off into another realm, so let's just stay in this realm for 5 more breaths. So just feeling what you're feeling and breathing in and out of your heart with whatever that deeper sense of relaxation or expansiveness or lightness that you might feel, that presence. And choose a place to touch on your body. We're going to anchor it in with a touch in 5 breaths. It could be your heart, it could be tongue on the roof of your mouth, or you could do both, finger and thumb. Something that's easy. And so now, as you're just sitting in the presence of all of this wonder of the truth of who we really are, I invite you into a first breath where you're breathing in and touching. And as you breathe out, just let go of your touch, whatever it is. And breathing in again and touching. And breathing out, letting go. And 3 more times on your own rhythm. And we'll do a little bit more of that at the very end to anchor in all of the juiciness of the whole day, because every piece has its own frequency, its own chemistry. So what you're experiencing is the chemistry of wholeness and the frequency of greater freedom to be more of who you are.
So, Connie, would you like me to say anything about what we want to do?
Sure.
So, we've just had an experience that may make what we're about to give you irrelevant because you already know it and your body already knows it. But sometimes the left brain comes in handy, and we can remember things and understand things in that way, in that sort of short, very rational, analytical side of things. So we're about to present 10 assumptions for a new paradigm. And by examining our current assumptions, which we received as children from our culture, from our schools, from our buddies, from television, from all of that, we just took those things on before we were in the analytical phase of our lives. So we deeply, unconsciously believe this stuff that ain't necessarily so. It's cultural, it goes back generations, thousands of years, and it's often wrong. Our belief systems are often based on erroneous assumptions. So we're going to suggest, propose, just 10, there were 10 commandments, let's have 10 assumptions, there's hundreds. And they say don't make assumptions, but we all make assumptions every day. I assumed that the seat would support my weight before I sat down. We make these fundamental choices. We don't do stupid things. I'm going to assume that I can walk across the freeway at rush hour. No, you aren't going to do that. So to have the correct assumptions. And in order to do that, it takes some going deep. So we're just going to offer, kind of from the left brain, so we're going to deliver some information. And before we can even do that, we need to confess that we use the English language in some slightly different ways. You know what an assumption is, and we use that definition of assumption. We know what a paradigm is, so we use that. But certain other things, like especially the word love, with a capital L, you will not find our definition of love in any dictionary in the known universe, because we just have a different take on love. Just for one thing, okay? Do you have anything to say, darling? Yes, Connie.
I know. Yes, so this is informed by indigenous cosmology and quantum science. So it's a synthesis of the two. And it's called the trust frequency, accessing the trust frequency. And what we're going to do is because this is a big construct on the nature of the universe, very big ideas, we're just going to introduce it through reading our definitions and our 10 assumptions. And I'm going to ask you to get into a receptive state. Okay, so Maureen's already cleared the track for the trust train, which we've done in the past, and so that you can take this information in a deeper, more thorough way. And so I'm just going to ask you to sit in an open, receptive space. Just open your heart and open your mind. And let's take a couple of deep breaths just to get there. And then I'm going to ask you to focus on your inner knowing, wherever that manifests for you. In your heart, in your body, in your left brain, in your right brain. You're all unique, so it all comes to us in different ways. And then I'm going to ask you to allow the words we are offering you to flow through that space without judgment and accepting them as absolutely true. And any resistance to let that flow into the now space so that we can take in these words we are offering and these concepts we are offering as a container for our time together. So Andrew and I will now bring forth these definitions, these words that we use and the way that we use them, and our 10 assumptions for a new paradigm.
All right, some of these will be familiar, some might be less familiar. Firstly, assumption is a core belief which we take to be true without question.
And a paradigm is a set of agreed upon assumptions which create a consensus reality.
Humanity is a collection of divine, autonomous, sovereign beings who have chosen to incarnate on earth to learn and grow on their soul's journey to wholeness, each with an individual purpose and a unique gift.
Love, the fundamental, unifying, and creative force of the universe.
I'm going to repeat that one. Love, the fundamental, unifying, and creative force of the universe with a capital U.
And that love is with a capital L. Frequency, the vibratory rate that determines the characteristics of a particular reality. There is a wide range of frequencies, each with its own reality and its own distinct laws.
Remember that one about, I'm picking up good vibrations? It's like that. The trust frequency, where the soul's destiny awaits with more abundance, balance, freedom, and joy than we can fathom, where the true nature of the universe is experienced.
Free will, the right to choose one's frequency.
See, look that one up in the dictionary. Free will, the right to choose one's frequency. Say what? Okay. Circumstance. I love this one. This is pure Connie, Baxter, Marlow. You tell us.
Circumstance, the seemingly uncontrollable outward events that influence our decision, that loves us more than we do.
The message is circumstance loves us. So whenever our plans go awry, trust that the universe is speaking and putting you back on track. You might be going one way, you think you're driving a Phoenix, and somebody comes out of a side road and hits you, and you go, whoa, and it's your next beloved sweetheart or some such event. It's always that. Consciousness, intention. Speaking of consciousness. Oh, I'm doing okay here. Consciousness. So consciousness is something that science has had a really hard time with. Consciousness is only now being studied, now in this era. It's always been a mystery. They always said, oh, we have to go to the church for that, right? So, two kinds of consciousness that we address here. One is universal consciousness. The universe is consciousness. The universe is a total manifestation of consciousness. So that is what you might call universal consciousness. And we don't, as individual humans, necessarily experience directly. That's the consciousness of the whole. And the human consciousness. What do we say about human consciousness?
The active and passive phenomena of awareness, assumption, attitude, attention, alignment, action, and allowing, which determine our frequency.
You might have noticed that all of those 7 words that Connie just used began with the letter A. So for some reason we call them the 7 A's. Yeah.
And we'll give you those in a sentence later.
And finally, the universe. Anybody ever managed to define the universe? Well, with a capital U, all that is, both manifest and unmanifest, also known as God, Creator, Atman, and on and on and on. There's so many names. I'm going to tell you the word in Zulu because I grew up in South Africa, and I want you to repeat it back to me. Ready? You've probably all heard of Ubuntu. Right, so that's our correct pronunciation of that word, Ubuntu, Ubuntu. Here's the conscious, loving universe in Zulu. Ready? Nkulu, Nkulu. Ready? Nkulu, Nkulu. It rhymes with Zulu. We simply call it the conscious, loving universe.
So those are our definitions. Now for the 10 assumptions.
And why are assumptions important? Because that is what creates our reality. If we believe the neighbors are dangerous, or we believe that we're not good enough, or whatever that kind of assumption may be, it really determines the life we experience. And the life we experience is the life we create through our own consciousness, through our thoughts, through what we believe. It's called worldview. And the current worldview has us separated into 200 separate countries with a collective military budget, just to take one thing, that is sufficient to solve every problem, including climate, on this planet in about 6 months. So we've somehow agreed to do that. To me, it's absurd, it's ridiculous. And unless we change our consciousness, we're going to see more of the same. And when we do change our consciousness, guess what? Whoops, here we go. Right. Right.
The only way out is up, to a higher consciousness, a higher frequency. So here are some tools. Okay, assumption 1. We live in a conscious, loving universe.
Yes.
There is only love. And remember, we asked you to take these as absolutely true.
And you remember the definition of love, with a capital L. It is energy. In Einstein's equation, E equals mc squared, you can replace that, the E with L. You want to know how much love there is in the universe? L equals mc squared. Take the mass of the universe, multiply it by the speed of light squared, and you've got the amount of love in the universe. You can actually do the math. It's ridiculous. I mean, that sounds silly, but it's true.
So we're going to resolve the love, not love paradox with this construct so that we understand that everything we see as not love is, in fact, love, because there is only love.
So remember, absolutely true. So this is not easy necessarily. The left brain really might have trouble with this.
Okay, so assumption 2. The universe loves us unconditionally. It gives us everything we ask for. Okay, what are our requests to the conscious, loving universe? Our consciousness. Okay, so our third assumption is
We create reality with the power of our consciousness. So we create reality. Reality is not something that is completely independent of us. We are completely integrated with, connected to the reality we experience in our lives. If you look around, you slowly start to realize that different people have very different experiences of what it is to be a human being. That's because of their assumptions. So that's why this assumption work is so important. Our belief system is critical to the lives we live and the lives we co-create with everyone and everything else.
so. These 7 A's that we spoke of, they are our requests to the conscious, loving universe. They determine our frequency. Okay, and here they are in one sentence. With expanded awareness. Remember, they all begin with A. With expanded awareness, we choose, no, excuse me, with expanded awareness and accurate assumptions, we choose our attitude, consciously direct our attention, align with our highest inner promptings, take committed action, and allow the loving universe to manifest beyond our wildest dreams.
Yes.
So now we'll just, those are, the first four assumptions are really our tools to understand the conscious, loving, abundant nature of the universe. That it is, in fact, only love. It's that unconditional love that gives us everything we ask for. When we understand what our requests are, when it's really physics, it's really vibration that puts us in a higher vibratory state where their laws are expanded and there's more beauty, balance, joy, freedom than we can fathom. So that's what awaits us as we join the earth as she rises into a higher frequency and we do our shadow work that Trish and Paul were just speaking of. That we do that individual work so we can go with the earth as she transitions into a higher frequency. So we'll just run through the last few assumptions because we want to give it over to Wowza to take you into embodiment. So here they are. Free will is an absolute law of the universe. We have the freedom to choose our frequency. We are masters of our own destiny.
The sixth assumption. Circumstance guides us on our journey to wholeness.
Remember, circumstance loves us more than we do because we came on this journey to wholeness and self-love and self-acceptance and alignment with our divinity and purpose. So we gave permission to the conscious loving universe to take us on this journey. 7, there is only now, this precious present moment. Living trustingly in the now, we experience the true nature of the universe. It is the gateway to the trust frequency.
And the eighth assumption, all of creation is one. Separation is a man-made illusion. We are the conscious loving universe.
Assumption 9. Humanity is on an evolutionary upward spiral, leading inexorably to a higher reality, the trust frequency, heaven on earth.
And finally, the 10th assumption, and feel free to come up with more of your own. I bet we could do 110 assumptions, all of which, each of which is transformative in the way that each of these assumptions are transformative. Because if you've ever thought about what the current assumptions are, they're not this. The assumptions upon which our societies are based are not this. This is different. And finally then, the 10th assumption. The trust frequency is a real place of unfathomable joy, peace, and abundance that is freely available to anyone, anywhere, anytime. That's the 10 assumptions, folks.
And what Maureen has suggested is that you now do a touch breath to lock it in. You want to guide them in that?
Nothing to guide. It's all simple. Just put your hand on your spot or spots and just breathing a nice big breath in as you allow and accept the freedom of all of this new level of understanding with your heart as well as your head. Just breathing in and breathing out. You only need one, but that's all good. 5 is a programming breath, 1 is an add-on.
Okay, so here we go with Wowza. It's going to take us into embodiment of the unlimited self.
So to bring all of this information you've just received into your body, here is Wowza.
Oh, I just feel being in a group like this is one of the most beautiful meditations that I know. I mean, to feel our eyes connected. And then just for a moment, there might be a pair of eyes. They might not even be looking at you. But we could just hook up. Just a sense. As I look into your eyes, I look into the beloved's eyes. All eyes. There is no eye that is not your eye. In the mirror of thee, I see thee. And that's the grounding of all embodiment. Oh my God. Now, did you see me pull back a little? that little crunch. It's almost like it's so overwhelming at first. And I used to hold my spine perfectly straight under all circumstances. Always perfectly, lovely, straight. But I didn't feel. It was an act of perfect. And I carried my perfection here and there and there. And when no one was looking, that yearning to make contact. And here I was doing everything perfectly, learning every conceivable system in the entire universe. Coming from a place. I want to jump once. I had a vision of standing in line, waiting to come in to the earth plane. And I was standing with my friend, Sabi, later known as Saboteur. And we had to figure out what game we were going to play once we got to Earth. Of course, we're universal beings. And we wanted, we had to have a theater to play, we have to make ourselves a little less than. We have the protagonist and the antagonist, and there was a rationale behind it. Because then it gives the world a friction, right? To bring out possibilities and gifts and talents that we would not normally ever exercise. We would just be flat, everything. So we were given this uniqueness, this incredible originality. And so what was the game we were going to play? And they were waiting in line. Well, the good one, lost and found. And Sabi, of course, was going to be the domineering one. And I was going to be, of course, the subservient one. And we would have these things and battles. And sure enough, the masculine and feminine would come together. What a great play. What a great game to play. Huh? That'd be pretty cool. Except there was one catch. When we got here, we forgot. And then the big game, will we wake up? Who's going to wake up?
See,
Right? But boy, it's a challenging one. We know who we are. I swear, I don't care who it is. 60 years of workshops from here to China. And it's like, deep down, we know. And yet, boom, 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 sometimes the game we play is whoa, whoa. And either we do that or we go on to another game. So, okay, I took away my voice. Physical, emotional abuse. That was a good one, right? I took away my body of skin and bones, eczema all over my body, town leper. That was a good one. Long story short, you name it, I'm a master of inhibition. I got every nuance of how to hide. And out of this given circumstance, I'm going to go to the extremes. And from the ugly duckling becoming a beauty queen. From ugly to beautiful. My whole spiritual practice was, what on earth is in the middle? Who am I? I mean, who I am in here. These extremes that put me, one great thing it gave me, I couldn't fit in. No matter how hard I tried. I was both the oddball. I never knew which one was worse. Because I was the extremes. And long story short, and then I want to really share that these 6 months of last year of being the embodiment of these assumptions. I mean, what an extraordinary gift from the universe. And for those 60 years of unraveling the history of finding there's gotta be a way through the cracks. What's the way through the cracks? And I just finished a book, The Sacred Actor. We're the embodiment of this infinite self. And how do we sit, stand, talk? How do we engage as that? That was my entire fascination my whole life. How and I started, and I out of all of this history, I wanted to just share one because of time. But finally, something happened which catapulted me out of the box. And then could look at the world from here. You can put your hands up. No. Here is this infinite self, right? And here is this beautiful blue orb that you have in your palm. And in the middle of that blue orb is that you. That you in there is just sitting here and wondering what to do next. All the little trials and things that we go through. And just to feel that perspective for a moment of being this infinite self, and there you are. And as you're doing this, I'd like you to do this little, it's like a little puff. Like a little kid, a kid seeing a Christmas tree for a first time. You know, you go, oh my gosh. But I'd like you to feel the breath matching the hands. Come on. That, yeah. And, and it hovers there for a second. There we go, oh my God. And then, oh, look, little child. Yeah. There. In there. And then, oh, you can go in. You can go out. Huh? No.
Yes.
You can go in. Come on. You can squeeze in there. Oh, your chin is so tight, and hold it in there. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah. You can do that. And then, what? Now, I'd like to do it even a little more. If you notice, some of you don't, I love the bushy tail. The bushy tail has served me enormously. We all have a little bushy tail. Okay, just play a little bit on your tail, and then feel like you've got a little arc. And then rise, sit around. Now, if you watch a little kid yawn, this is the best secret in neuroscience today. The yawn is not to put us to sleep. It is to wake us up. The upper palate puffs. The hands, the balls of your feet. Can just get a little goosed. Goosed, my God. So you're getting puffed. You're playing. And again, we are only as youthful as our spine allows us to be. In this universal process, we can begin now, perhaps, to speak with our whole body. So these paradigms, see, of separate, just the first one, see that we're separate, random. I have to hold a position. I have to protect. I have to. Or defend. Now, women mostly see we have a tendency to protect. And we crouch a little more. And then, more. So if you could just, even for a moment with that, let's just act strong. You asked a little kid, stop all that silly, girly stuff. Act strong. Give me a yes. Great. Yes. And this tone has a tone, right? There's a certain tone to it. I love you, I hate you, see you later, the house is burning, and everything's great. Right? You're not breathing. There's no breath in these acts of separation. That's how you can tell them back. Watch this one. Sink the chins. Yeah. This is my nice. This is also my subservient. Notice the voice. I can learn everything. But if I go into a relationship with this little voice, it can attract flies. And so, wait a minute is my favorite mantra. Wait a minute. I've done this 15 years in China, where I have had the Chinese, wait a minute, wait, Tanisha, to my brain, the obsessiveness of being 99% in my head and completely out of my feeling range. Wait a minute. And so this little gauge, and I became, because I had no voice, I had to see and bless these glitches, because by shutting down my voice completely, I opened up an entire pre-verbal language of feeling, of someone that couldn't dare feel, or I would have been. Razor straps were my father's specialty. So can we just have a little just a little you don't know that language. It wants to come out sooner, right? I know I'm in here, and then there's something here. Take that, take your finger. Yeah, be that part. And then, Now, what's in the middle? What's in the middle? And I just give you this here. Gabrielle Roth made the 5 rhythms thing. Yeah. I made the 5 vowels. I love the 5 vowels. Because out of this little kid going, and trying to be, strong and cool, smart. Oh God, I tried so hard to be smart. Okay? I love you. Agency, it's smart. They're roles. They're roles we took on to survive, that's all. We all have them, And so this process, they got to play our own role. To love this role as our original creation. Nothing to judge or even to get rid of as if we could. But it doesn't have to run our show now. So out of the cracks, and notice, see, it's all in this spine. And can I have it's a language. In these hinges, here I am. And watch this, because I was taught to be smart. But then, this hinge. I'm not going to lose my head. No way am I going to lose my head. So just have one. There's that puff, the upper palate. You can get air into the upper palate, goes right into the pituitary, the pineal gland. I mean, take your hand like this for a minute. Take the blooming brain that has been squashed and stuffed with so much information. Give it a break. Just spread it to the sky of your mind. So the sky of your mind, baby, it's great. Oh my God, to the brain. Just one of those a day. That's inhale. Fly it off the brain and out into the skies. Oh, so we're up here now. We're a little bit lofty here. It is a communication. It's a communication of feeling. And you'll start to yawn because we are starving for oxygen. We are seriously starving. We are a culture of shallow breathers, and I don't care how much pranayama. We can do pranayamas from here to doomsday. We walk down and we sit in our chairs and we talk and we commune, and this is casual. being casual. I'm being shallow in my breath, big time. And if I were caught in that ugly duckling with her thises and her thatses, I would be dead by now. So at 86, I can't wait till I'm 96 with the energy of these assumptions, even remotely. There is no reason, and I'm not talking about acting young, all that stuff, that's all an act.
Mhm.
I'm talking about energy. I mean, energy everywhere we look, you know what it is? And I don't have to take it for myself. I just open to you. And I go, ooh, what's this energy? Unique. Whoa, this is cool. This is hot. I'm kidding. There is no one we are not. There is nothing we are not. Holy shit. I mean, if that even remotely was true. Breathe each other in. Because each one has a gift of me in you. A hidden me in you. So I'd be playing stupid not to go, you know? That I have denied in me. Oh, there's a glint in your eyes. See, I could just for a moment, see, that's what we made by teachers of each other. I don't have to think what to do or to say. I just have to get one little glint. And then I give you the hum of love. In terms of all communication, everything in the entire world is in vibration. And it's all hum. It's all humming. See, we do the straight ones. We're a straight line consciousness, and dear God, for lovely Om. Om. Let's let the straight line consciousness take a rest.
Oh, yeah.
And the hospital is not a good thing.
That's not. It's a curve. All energy's a wave. Oh. You think you have, see that art? What are we doing with that art? See, yeah, I'm getting my little, that's a yawn. What is it doing? It's doing this. Oh, there's a heart. And it's never, see where we get into these specific, go my heart. It's an act. Open. Because a heart and a spine and a breath opens and then it's soft. See that we brighten, and we take it in, we digest it to the most delicious food. And then see that we're ready again. Ooh, another one. This can go on forever. And in ever, the energy keeps growing because now I've got some of you in me. I've got a little glimpse of you in me. I've got, there's something, soul, glasses is so cute. And now I've got some humor. Right? I said gift after gift after gift. Energy after energy after, but I see, but I'm consciously doing it. And it's fun. I'm not lost in it. 3 skills I will teach you today. See, I can enjoy the part where I'm not stuck in a professional tone. And like the child, see, when most kids play, you know, they have their little tea parties. They're imitating adults. And you watch them, hear their this free spirit, aliveness, right? And they start to play. They are holding their breath. And so what I'd like to just leave, really, whoa. Whoa. The Church of Wow loves you, see the whoa. 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 You have to come Monday night, please.
Wowza is the only 86-year-old teenager I have ever met. I'd just like Connie to tell the group what's going on at the Gateway Portal in Venice on Monday night?
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you do it?
Okay, quickly. Yes, we are offering a more in-depth experience on Monday night, April 3rd, this coming Monday, for 3 hours, and it will be oriented towards relationships. We know that today is a relationship-oriented day, and we will go applying the trust frequency and all of this to our relationships with ourselves, others, and the universe. So, in the Dance of Souls, which is our online course that deals with applying the trust frequency to relationships. So we hope any of you can join us as a special rate for GPT folks. And let's see,
And I just wanted to also, you know, again, a couple of people asked me about my name, and I did start something, created something called Church of Wow, and it was one in terms of relationships, one of the most extraordinary experiences of my life, and in terms of change. And I'd love to present that Monday night as well. I'm sorry we didn't have a chance to have a little more time today, but I would love to have you come and continue.
Thank you, Wowza. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Andrew. And wow.